Hey guys, it's Lizzie. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm going to start talking about how I literally forget my bipolar symptoms and that I'm bipolar, which might seem really weird to you if you don't have the illness. But I went through most of my life not being medicated, like in high school, for the majority of college. And so I had hypomanic episodes for like years and years and years. I was hypomanic. And then I had during like after college like manic episodes and was officially like bipolar 1 diagnosed and everything. So it's just weird to me now. Like I just filmed a video, signs of mania, 13 signs of mania. I always do my 13 things. And in the video, like it was so, most of my videos on bipolar that I filmed when I was within the episodes and not medicated all the way, not balanced on meds. It was so easy to make videos talking about bipolar. I would just give like 1, 2, 3, 4 bullet points and film. But for this one, I had to do so much thinking and analyzing, like, what is mania like? What are the symptoms in mania? What was my experience? Because I don't have mania anymore. And so it's just like so bizarre to me that something that was so intertwined in my soul and affected my entire life, it happened years ago, and now it's hard to even remember what it was like. And in the past, when I've written about mania or made videos about mania, I've almost been like craving it and wanting to be manic. But I'm at a point now where I like don't even remember what mania is because it was so long ago. And there's actually a lot of memory loss in mania and depression. So with depression too, like when I think of like what are symptoms of depression, what does it feel like being in depression, like I don't even know, and I can't even explain it. Like there's two things, depersonalization and derealization, where you feel like a stranger in your own head and then the world feels like it's underwater, which you can't understand if you haven't been in depression. And literally, like, I remember I was trying to explain that recently to someone, and it was so hard for me to explain it. Like, I had to think so much and, like, research and stuff. So it's weird that, like, bipolar is a lifelong diagnosis, and in a lot of ways, it's who I am. And I can try to medicate away a lot of the symptoms, but it will always be here. But it's just strange to me that episodes that were so, like, engaging and amazing and helped me grow spiritually and were also traumatic, it's just weird that that stuff feels so far away from where I am right now. And literally, Miranda says I have bipolar as well. Are you relating to this a lot? But literally, I forget I'm bipolar all the time, where I'm just used to taking medicine every single night. But I forget, like, I have a chronic illness called bipolar disorder. And maybe if I ruminated on that all the time, like, I have a chronic illness that could kill me. I have a chronic illness that could kill me. Maybe I would just go crazy from it. And so it's like a coping mechanism that you literally forget that you have your mental illness. It's weird. Like, it's so weird to me because that was my reality for years and years and years. But I'm so happy that, like, for the first time when I was writing and filming this video, I actually didn't crave the mania. I wasn't like, I want to go off meds and be manic. Like, I didn't have that impulse at all. And I was so proud of myself. So Danielle says, just diagnosed bipolar 1. Your videos have helped me so much with understanding. Yeah, and I've made over 50 videos talking about it. I have an entire playlist for all my bipolar videos. And I'm so glad that I made them at the time that I was experiencing the symptoms, because now I couldn't make really amazing videos about that because I'm just so far away from it. So Emily says, I get what you mean about forgetting. I don't have bipolar, but I went through a long period of depression. But it was a while ago now, so it's hard to remember the experience. Yeah, I feel the exact same way about my depression episode, where, like, if I watch my old videos about it, I'm like, wow, this was really what it was like. But I have way more memory loss in depression episodes than manic episodes. I would say if it's like a full-blown manic episode, I won't remember it. But hypomania, I remember everything about hypomania. I remember, like, not the symptoms of it, but I remember that time of my life. I have memories. Whereas with depression episodes, I literally don't have memories of a lot of parts of my life. Did you lose friends going on meds? That's such an interesting question. No, I would say that it was better for everyone in my life, because sometimes in mania, I would hurt my friends, and sometimes I would just be like out of control. and a lot to handle, because like with pressured speech, you're talking, like full of energy. And I think that gets really grating to people. So I would say my friends liked it, and it improved my relationships in my life when I went on meds. But the strangest thing is, like, boyfriends in my life have hated when I've been manic, but my friends don't mind when I'm manic. They think it's just fun. But then, like, ask Trevor, and he's like, I don't like when Lizzie is manic. I lose her. So it's interesting. Danielle says, the memory loss is such a struggle for me, but more for my partner. Yes! Oh my goodness, same thing. So Trevor and I need to do another live stream or a video about bipolar. So it hurts him so much. Like, he's so sad that I forget our whole relationship because of my depression and memory loss. So it's really, really sad for sure. Raul says, Lizzie's, did you get my message? Probably not if I didn't reply to it. Guys, I have so many people messaging me on so many different social medias, email accounts, and I have notifications turned off for everything, because I would literally be like, it would be blowing up my phone constantly if I had notifications on. So I don't read a lot of things. It's impossible to read everything. So I do read YouTube comments, though. I always read YouTube comments when my video comes out. So if you comment on my video, I definitely have read your comments. Would you want to remember what it was like to be depressed, though? I personally think that I would rather have the memories with my best friends and remember how traumatic depression was than to lose the memories of my life. Because I think I would eventually get used to it. Not used to it, but it would like become normal what my depression was like. And I would cry and cry and cry, and it would be traumatic that I went through that and experienced that. But eventually, like, you can't be hurt from something forever. Like, I would heal from it. But like, I remember I was Zooming with one of my, Zoom is like the new FaceTime, right? So I was Zooming with one of my friends, and I was like, yeah, I had memory loss from like end of junior year to senior year. And he's like, that's when we were the closest friends. Like, he was like offended that I would forget our friendship. And so I think that's really sad. So do you miss your old self and the good times? I think that because I record my life through videos, I'm able to access my old self whenever I want to. I can just watch my old videos. And I think it honestly, like, so I'm at a point now where I don't crave emotions. Like, I don't need to feel like on top of the world and everything's perfect and like I'm so close to God and like I'm in love with Trevor so much. Like, I don't need to feel those extreme emotions to be happy. Like, I'm very content with just like mediocre emotions and being on a more chill level rather than like on top of the world or like nothing. Like, I'd rather just be in the middle, so I don't miss those extreme emotions, because I've come to realize that life is more than emotions. Raul said, I sent you a message on Insta and Twitter and a super chat and I didn't see it. What tornadoes? My boyfriend's name is Trevor. Really? That's so funny. Yeah. Do the side effects of your meds go away with time? It totally depends on your medicine and your side effect. So I have had side effects going on to every single medication I've ever been on. And it's been just like, wait a second, I need to grab my camera. This is like sitting on a stool. I don't want it to fall or anything. So I have had horrible side effects going on to every medicine, like nausea, where I'm throwing up. I'm almost passing out, really exhausted, feverish. Yeah, just like being really sick every time I go on a medicine or increase the dosage. But it goes away, except for lithium. With lithium, I was dehydrated constantly, like constantly downing water. I was dizzy a lot. So besides lithium, like feverish on lithium, besides that, I don't have any side effects, but it totally depends on the person. Like, some people with lithium like gain weight, and then some people with Vraylar like have shaking hands, and I don't really have that at all. So who do the old videos bring back memories? A similar thing happened with my depression. The place where I spent a lot of time brings back memories. That's cool that like physically going to the place reminds you. Yes, the memories come back when a friend talks about it or I watch an old video. I'm like, oh, that happened. But not with everything. With some things, it brings back some memories. So, and songs actually that I listened to at the time can bring back memories as well. But mostly just like reminiscing with friends really helps me. Tornado alert in my area. Okay, you guys. Bye, guys. Bye, Cassandra. Thanks for hanging out. My biggest struggle right now is the guilt of my outbursts. Are you Catholic? Because going to confession in Catholicism gets rid of all my guilt. Because especially like whenever I tell them that I'm bipolar, they're like, oh, okay, that's not a mortal sin. Because I wasn't in control because I was in an episode. So it always makes me feel like so much better when the priest is like, oh, this wasn't your fault. Like, you're in a manic episode. It was your mental illness that did it, not you. So that's why I love confession, because sometimes I feel guilty about things that like I shouldn't even be feeling guilty about. A. Moreau says they're not good memories. Mariah says my ADHD meds make me super nauseous and dehydrated. Really, like all the time. I would go on a different one. I don't know about ADHD, like how many medicines they have and stuff, but Alexander says it's not a joke. Sorry. I'm sorry. It was just, there were so many emojis. You made it comical with how many emojis. Like, tornadoes are terrifying. I grew up in Ohio and Indiana, so I know. And we had a basement in my house, and sometimes my parents would wake me up at like 3 a.m. and we would like run to the basement. So like, I get tornadoes are terrifying. I totally get that. Demonto says, Lizzie, listen, Catholics are not Christians. Okay, Catholics believe in Mother Mary, the statue. They are idol worshippers. Catholics are unbelievers. So in Catholicism, it is a mortal sin to worship idols. It is a mortal sin to worship Mary. I'm sure, there's 1 billion Catholics in the world. I'm sure at least one person worships statues and worships Mary. But it's a mortal sin. Like, the Catholic Church does not teach to worship idols or statues or icons or people or saints. We only worship God. And we're the original Christians as well. I've made over 100 videos proving that Catholicism is the original church established by Jesus. So definitely check out my playlist. Lizzie, how do you know if you're bipolar or have major depression? So I was diagnosed by therapists and psychiatrists. So I really recommend seeing a professional, because as much as I make videos like signs of depression, signs of bipolar, and I want to help people get diagnosed, you ultimately need to go to a professional, primarily because you need to get on medication. I'm a huge believer in medication for mental illnesses. So I think the reason I went to a therapist was because I stopped eating. I lost my appetite like so much. Like, I didn't eat for 2 days straight and I wasn't hungry. And I was like, do I have a weird type of eating disorder? Like, I was so confused. And then one of my roommates at the time, her boyfriend has had depression before. And so he saw it in me. And that's why we were like, maybe you have depression. Because I had the experience where like, it was like there was a fog around me and I wasn't fully in the world. And he's like, oh, wow, I had that same symptom when I was in depression. So that helped me a lot, having friends who had depression. And with bipolar, my ex-boyfriend from college, after we broke up, so I broke up with him because I had like all these feelings for him. And then I woke up one day and it was like a light switch went off and I lost all feeling towards him. And then a few days later, or like a week later, I felt all the emotions towards him and then nothing. So he was like, you're messing with my head. Figure out how you feel about me. And I was like thinking internally, like, I can't, there's something going on in my brain against my will, changing my emotions. So I broke up with him because I didn't want to keep hurting him. And then he went to a therapist to kind of break down the breakup and help himself out. And the therapist was like, I think she has bipolar disorder based upon how you're describing her. And so later, I just thought he was being a horrible person and was like, you're bipolar, like making my emotions seem like horrible or something. Like, you're so emotional, you're bipolar, I didn't take it seriously because I was so hurt from the breakup and from losing him. So I didn't even I wasn't at an emotional place where I could listen to what he was actually saying. So then later on in the first semester of my junior year of college, which was like 6 months after that, I started having looking back on my life and seeing periods of slight depression and slight mania. And I was kind of starting to put it together. And then a year later, I started having actual manic episodes and actual depression diagnosed episodes. And then I was I bet I'm bipolar, thinking back on everything. And that's when I was able to go on antipsychotics and stuff. So I caught my ex caught my bipolar before it had even like manifested fully as bipolar, which was so cool that he caught it that early. And I was able to get on meds like as soon as I had a manic episode. So I was hypomanic a lot of college, but when I started getting like manic episodes, I was able to get medicated. So that's how I found out I was bipolar. I figured it out. My ex figured it out. We figured it out. I'm not a professional. Professionals had misdiagnosed me for years. Like I'd gone to psychiatrists since I was in high school because I was just like acting weird with my family. I was so emotional. And the psychiatrist didn't diagnose me. The first psychiatrist who gave me mood stabilizer, bipolar medicine, didn't believe I was bipolar, but he gave me lithium anyways because I demanded it. And then like my next psychiatrist, I was like, I know I'm bipolar. And after that, professionals like began saying like, you are bipolar, like you're bipolar 1, without me like forcing the diagnosis on them. So like, that's why my videos are signs you're bipolar, because the professionals are wrong a lot of the time. And this is like my biggest thing. I think with diagnosing someone, you need to bring in their family, roommates, and significant other into the appointment, because you don't have an objective view of yourself. Other people in your life have an objective view of yourself. And so I think that when diagnosing bipolar, it would be more important to bring your significant other with you or your family member and then ask about patterns in their lives. Because for me, like my experiences are normal. It's just what I'm dealing with. This is my normal personality. I'm hypomanic, but it's normal to me. So yeah, I'm like so grateful that I figured it out so young, because some people message me and they're like in their 40s and like finally figuring out that they're bipolar. Okay. Let's see the comments. Alexander says, thank you, Lizzie. I'm sorry for overreacting. Yeah, it's okay. I know tornadoes are literally terrifying. I was actually talking to my mom about this yesterday, how I think tornadoes are the scariest natural disasters, because you have like a 5-second warning and then you suddenly have to like, oh, sorry, you guys, I inserted an ad. I didn't know I could do that. Anyways, so you have like 3 seconds to figure it out, and then you have to get to safety. And I don't know what people do who like live in apartments or something, because like, I don't know what they do. Like, where do they go to cover? I know, like, let's say you were on the top floor, you would go somewhere where like there's not a window, like a doorway or something, but not having a basement, I don't know what you do. Like, it's so scary. So if Catholics worship Mary, we would believe she was the one who was present in the Eucharist instead of Jesus. But we don't believe that because we are not idol worshipers. Okay. Lizzie, how do you know, Mega Max says, how do you know if you have bipolar or major depression? So I'm going to link in the chat 2 videos I've made. One is signs of depression and one is signs of bipolar. And Lizzie's answers. Yeah, so I have a video, 9 signs you have bipolar
I've been on Noom for 4 months.
Sorry, my ads are playing, which is great that I have ads. Okay, so signs of bipolar. If you're not able to access this through the chat, then email me or DM me. And then signs of depression, signs, major depression signs.
I wanted to make this is because
I made that video because I had no idea that I had depression, because depression is so much different than what you think it is. At least in me, it manifested very physically. So I felt like exhausted all the time. Even if I slept for like 15 hours, I had no energy. I was having vivid dreams. I lost all my appetite. My brain was slowed down. I couldn't think. It stressed me out having to make decisions, like all these things that had nothing to do with like crying and feeling insecure. It was all physical. And then it was like feeling like a stranger in my own head, being on autopilot, having a fog surrounding me. And then actually I have a video, a very extra video called 100 Signs of Bipolar Disorder.
so intense and translated, like it's impossible to stop. This is called hypergraphia.
Yeah, hypergraphia is when you write and write and write and write and can't stop writing. 100 signs of bipolar. Okay, so those are 3 videos. Definitely watch them. If you relate to the symptoms, make an appointment with a therapist or psychiatrist. I know that quarantine is going on, so my psychiatrist I'm currently doing through the internet. So I'm sure that there are so many therapists who you can do through the internet. Okay, let's see more comments. Hey, Lizzie. Hi, Maya. People are talking about if I worship idols or not. I don't worship idols. It's a mortal sin in Catholicism. I would go to confession. How do we DM you? Verbum asked. So I will put in the chat my Twitter and Instagram. So DM me on Twitter or Instagram and I may see it. Or you could email me at lizziesanswers@gmail.com. So one of those. But honestly, you guys, I get so many messages. I don't have notifications for Twitter or Instagram on, so it's impossible for me to get back to everyone. So it's not a personal thing at all. Okay. Thank you, Verbum says. You're welcome. Allie says, I am borderline and my girlfriend is bipolar and we are totally understand and love each other for 1.5 years till now. Do you think that we have a future together? I think so for sure. I think that people with mental illnesses can understand each other so much better than people without mental illnesses. And so I think it's really, really beautiful that you guys understand that part of each other. The only thing that could go wrong is if 2 people have a mental illness, you could like encourage each other to go off meds. So that's like the only thing where I could see it as a negative thing. So as long as you're both like pro medication, but if you both like want to be off meds, then that could go wrong. Like I know in mental hospitals or like if you're in like an outpatient treatment where you have group therapy for bipolar, I've heard them say they don't encourage people to fall in love in those situations. Because if 2 people are bipolar, they will like self-destruct together is like the idea. But I think if you're both pro-treatment, then that really shouldn't happen. I have bipolar, Amanda says, and never have energy. Do you have energy now that you're not depressed? Any advice to get my energy back would be great. So go on medication, go on mood stabilizers and antipsychotics. That will help you a lot. I really recommend this medicine called Lamictal. I put it in the chat. It's like the best medicine. It blocks you from going into depression. Once I'm out of depression, I have full energy, so much energy back to normal. So it's literally just a depression symptom. It's not something like you're stuck with throughout your life. Does Jesus pray for us? I don't know. In the Bible, it talks about how the Holy Spirit prays for us. So obviously Jesus prays for us. We pray in Jesus' name. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. That's very complicated. What's going on with Cimarelli? Did one of them stop going to church? So Danny Cimarelli, the youngest, stopped being Catholic and she's Protestant now. So that's what's going on with them. So hopefully she goes back to being Catholic. There's so much evidence for Catholicism being the original church that Jesus started. So I think she'll definitely go back to being Catholic because it's true. If you look into it, it's true. So yes. Danielle says, I just started Latuda after Wellbutrin made me crazy depressed. Wow. So you're bipolar and Wellbutrin put you in depression. Because usually antidepressants put you into mania. So that's interesting for sure. Allie says, thank you. We're both on meds and encourage each other to the right path always. You're the best, Lizzie. Oh, yeah. I think it's amazing that you guys can understand each other. Alexander says, why would he need to pray for us if he can answer our prayers himself? Yeah, I don't understand what the question means. Because if the Holy Spirit prays with us and for us, then other parts of the Trinity, I don't know. It's interesting. Louisa says, I'm not bipolar, but find you talking about it really interesting and hopefully I'm able to understand others with bipolar. Yeah. So I knew no one who was bipolar who I got diagnosed. So I think it's so important to like educate the world on what it's like living with it. Do you believe the first books of the Bible were written by Moses? Yes and no. So do I think they were physically written by Moses? Probably not. But listen, so it's impossible for us to fully understand, but it was an oral culture. So they like handed down things word for word orally, and it's impossible for us to understand. But for them, it was as if it was written down because it was said word for word. And it was not a telephone game where like stuff was made up through the years, but it was orally word for word passed down perfectly. And I mean, obviously, God was working too to help them pass it on and write it and everything. But does that make sense? Because I know when I say that, people get so sketched out and they're like, he didn't write it then. But like when I was taking religion classes at Pepperdine, they were talking about the oral traditions and how we're a written culture now. So it's like impossible for us to understand what it would be like to be an oral culture. So Javier says Jesus did pray for the unity of Christians, so I'd say he does pray for us. I mean, he did on earth, so I assume that in heaven he might as well. Anyways, Vince is here. Hi, how are you doing? We just talked about bipolar for 30 minutes, so you missed out. Mimi said, did Danny ever talk about it on social media about her leaving Catholicism? Yes, she made a YouTube video about it, like a Q&A. So if you Google like Danny Cimarelli leaving Catholicism, or just go to her YouTube channel, and I'm sure that it will come up. Courtney says, I have depression, bipolar, and I'm schizophrenic on no meds because I don't like how I felt on them. Thanks for talking about this. So I highly recommend going back on meds just because there are like dozens of different medications for all of that. And so just because you didn't like how you felt on one medication or 3 medications or even 5 medications, there's dozens of other medications that you could feel better on. And so that's why I recommend always trying out different meds. Like it could take several years to get the best medication balance, but long term, it's just easier to survive with meds if you're bipolar. Verbum said, who is Danny? So there's this band on YouTube with 5 million subscribers named Cimarelli, and there are 6 sisters part of the band. The youngest sister, Danny, recently left the band because she wants to pursue a career in graphic design, and she also left Catholicism. So she talked about that on her YouTube channel. And obviously they're like huge YouTubers, so everyone's talking about it and was really invested in their band and everything. So I watch her videos. I love her. I think she's so depth and fun, and I really like the content that she produces. Mimi said I couldn't find it. It's a Q&A, and in the thumbnail it talks about Catholicism. Keith said, did Satan know Jesus was God? Yes. Michelle says, hey, Lizzie, I was grocery shopping. I'm eating a salad. What kind of salad? That's so fun. Emily says, I have invisible eyebrows. Okay, you guys, so with vegetables, I literally barely eat vegetables raw anymore. I usually always cook them into what I'm making. So I like haven't had a proper salad in so long. Given that many in corporate ranks tend to be sociopaths, what should this mean for a sociopath or psychopath's purpose in life in God's view? So one of my friends is a sociopath, and I pray that she'll find God and be able to like develop a moral compass through that. But I honestly have no idea, like, if they're at fault for doing things, if they literally are so scarred from how they grew up that they like don't have empathy and stuff. So yeah, I don't really know at all. Son of Saul said, taking a prayer break, maybe back. Bye, have fun praying. Caesar salad kit, that sounds so good. Raoul said Catholicism is only part of the original church. It's also the Orthodox Church and the Oriental Orthodox churches. I've never said anything different. Odyssey, Iliad, fairy tales, and African history are all oral tradition. Homer didn't physically write the Odyssey and Iliad, he dictated it. Yeah, and like Socrates as well. So yeah, there's a lot of examples of that. And I think we just need to trust that it's a different culture and that it's like impossible for us to understand. Claudette says, how do I convince my parents to let me go on meds for my anxiety? They think I'm just being too sensitive, even though I've been dealing with anxiety for the past 2 years and have gone to therapy. That is so frustrating. So I literally get messages so much from people whose parents do not believe they have depression, don't believe they have anxiety. So I made an entire video talking about what to do when your parents don't believe you have depression. And I think it will also translate to anxiety. So I've linked the video and definitely watch it. And I just gave advice on how to talk to them and get them to understand. But I would definitely pray and pray and pray and start there, that their hearts will open up and they'll be able to listen and love you better. Because I think that's like the best way to start. Verbum says, if you only read 3 writings from the Reformation, how would you know what Luther wrote and said? I don't even understand the question. Like, what writings from the Reformation should you read? Is that the question? I feel like I am not an expert on the Protestant Reformation, so I feel like I'm not the best person to ask. Try like Trent Horn or something, or like Pater Coffin. I think they'd be better people to ask about that. Why didn't the apostles know Jesus after the resurrection? Are you talking about the road to Emmaus? So the road to Emmaus is a story where Jesus was talking to 2 of his disciples, and he like explained to them how the old covenant connected to Jesus and the new covenant, and they like didn't recognize Jesus. And so I think it was just Jesus just wanted it to be like this incredible moment where then he took bread, blessed it, broke it, and he was made known in the breaking of the bread and recognized in the Eucharist. So I think that the reason he was not shown is because in Luke, after his resurrection, that is a Eucharist passage. Like, he was made known in the breaking of the bread, which is how Jesus is fully present in the real presence of the Eucharist. So that is why that story exists. And I'm actually, what chapter of Luke is this? The Road to Emmaus. I also made a whole YouTube video talking about this. It is in Luke 24. Lily's Answers Bible Study. I don't know if it will come up, my video talking about, yeah. My video talking about the road to Emmaus. Here. So I've linked my video talking about road to Emmaus. So definitely go watch the video if you want to know about his disciples not recognizing him and everything. Maya says, if you haven't yet, you should try arugula salad. I used to love arugula. I almost said I love it, but I haven't had it in so long, so I don't know if I still love it. Michelle said, my cousin has schizophrenia and MMRD, so my family understood me. I didn't know that about my cousin. We started talking after my diagnosis. Yeah, my parents didn't believe my diagnosis for a long time, and I'm pretty sure my dad still doesn't believe that I'm bipolar. Keith said, thanks, Lizzie. You're welcome. Who or what do you think the Antichrist is? So I was listening to the Bible last night while I was cooking, and I listened to so much of the Bible. Like, I listened to the end of Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter. Like, literally, when you just listen to it, you can go through so much of the Bible. So, and it was talking about there will be many antichrists of antichrists or something, I think in 2nd Peter, I don't know. But yeah, and I was like, what is this talking about? So I think it's something that will happen like closer to when Jesus comes to earth and everything. Look up David Wood and his testimony. Alexander, if you could trade your mental problems for another cross, what would you pick? That's such an interesting question. So in Catholicism, we talk about struggles we go through as crosses because Jesus says to take up our cross and follow him. And so I think it's just a really, really beautiful thing. that we can relate to Jesus and his suffering, and our suffering can be redeemed, just like how Jesus' suffering was redeemed. I don't know if I would want to have a physical illness, because bipolar is like physical in a lot of ways, but I'm able to like go out and do things and live my life. So yeah, I really don't know what it would be. Michelle says, I have New and Old Testaments on Audible. Yeah, so I have an app on my phone called YouVersion Bible. So just search YouVersion Bible and you can listen to the Bible on it in multiple translations. Joshua said, I got the book Upon This Rock and I love it. Yay, I'm so happy. Vince says, I'm a tank. What does that mean? Michelle says, on my really old iPod. I had an iPod back in the day. I wonder what happened to it and if it would still work. They were so cute how they were like different colors and everything. Verbum keeps saying the same thing over and over again. I'm literally going to block you. So obviously, I've read a lot of writings from the Reformation. I don't think I'm an expert in it. We learned about the Protestant Reformation going all the way back to high school. And so obviously I've read about the Reformation, but I would say that like with becoming Catholic, I read Catholic sources talking about Protestantism, if that makes sense. So the last time that we really I studied the Protestant Reformation from a Protestant perspective was like in my church history classes in college and in like AP European history in high school. I currently don't spend a lot of time reading Protestant sources, so I think you should talk to another Catholic apologist other than me. I'm not like an expert in it. Just like how I'm not an expert in arguments for the existence of God. Like I'm an expert, I'm not in anything, obviously. Like I'm not a scholar or anything. But what I've studied has been early church evidence for Catholicism. So any music suggestions that bipolar people relate with? So I have a whole playlist on Spotify of depression, but oh my goodness. So Halsey has a song called Control, and it's literally talking about bipolar disorder. I really like it a lot. Paul says, do you think any of the apostles had mental illness? Probably at least one had like anxiety or depression. Michelle says, mine still works and mine is pink. That's so crazy. Maureen says, thank you for blocking him. I know, he was like blowing up the whole chat. Like I couldn't even read the actual comments. Mimi says, I'm going to watch the Danny Cimarelli video. I'll watch this later after. Bye. Bye. Jake says, do you forgive someone if they don't repent? We are always supposed to forgive people, even if they don't apologize to us. Yes. Peter was asking Jesus, how many times do I have to forgive? 7 times? And Jesus is not hyperbolic. He's like not 7, but 77 times. So that means always. That's yes. Maya says, thank you for the donation. Love your videos. Can you make a video explaining why the Catholic and Orthodox Church have apostolic succession, but Anglicans and Lutherans don't? That's a really good video idea. I'm going to screenshot this. And I'm going to copy and paste and put it in my note of video ideas. I also made an entire video talking about apostolic succession. So if you YouTube search Lizzie's Answers, apostolic succession, then my videos will come up. Paul says, do you write down people to pray for? Yes, I have a prayer journal where I write down names. Ralph says, can you forgive someone if they're not repentant? Yes. Ralph says, a lot of my friends and an ex who are bipolar listen to 100 gex. 100 gex? Anyways, let me give you a video I made talking about forgiveness that I really recommend watching. It's like a Devo with Lizzie Forgiveness. It's called
If you'd like to stay strong.
It's called Forgiving When It Feels Impossible. Here, I'll put it in the chat. Star Tarot is here. That would be a good video. Maya says, thank you. Heather says, Lizzie, have you heard?
Hi.
Sorry, there's an ad coming up. Lizzie, did you see the protesters were burning Bibles in Portland this week? Blue Collar Catholic YouTube channel did a video about it. That's horrible. Honestly, so much is going on. I feel like I can't even keep up with all the persecution of Catholicism going on. It's just horrible. It's horrible. We have freedom of religion in this country, and I wish everyone would respect it and just like treat each other with love and respect and admiration and not do stuff like this. Okay, everyone, thumbs up the video, like the video. Let's increase the place in the algorithm. Vince says, calling myself a tank means I'm a beast. Calling myself awesome. A tank. I've never heard of that lingo. I'm getting too old, I guess, although we're about the same age. So I guess it's not like a Gen Z thing or anything. Okay. Google account says, I had my schizophrenia act up at Mass. It'd be hard to forget I was schizoaffective, but there have been periods of time when a couple weeks would go by with very little voice hallucinations. So I think that your medicine doesn't like eliminate symptoms as much as bipolar medicines do. Maybe in the future they will completely get rid of it. Michelle says that is terrible. Maya says, I was surprised to find out that Catholicism is a minority in America. In Canada, Catholicism is the largest religion. Really? I guess it makes sense because the French colonized it, so that does make sense. I always forget about the thumbs up button. American flag and Bibles were burned in the streets in Portland. That's horrible. Keith says, why can't the church ordain women? So I made an entire YouTube video. Surprise! I have YouTube videos on literally every topic. Okay. So, women priests, Lizzie's answers. Basically, Jesus chose 12 apostles who were men.
I'm asking you to make a donation right now.
Sorry. Who's trying to get me to make a donation? Some Senate candidate who I don't care about. Women priests, I highly recommend watching the video. But there were a lot of women who were part of ministry in the early church. I made videos talking about women's role in the early church. Women were prophets. They were missionaries. They were leading prayers, leading prophecy in the church communities during Mass. And teachers, missionaries, all of that, but they were not apostles. They were not priests. They were not bishops. From the very beginning, there have never been women priests. There have never been women apostles. There have never been women bishops. In one part of the Bible, in the New Testament, it refers to Junia as an apostle. That's because language regarding leadership was loose language. It did not mean she had apostolic succession. Just like how it talks about Dorsha, who is a deacon, that doesn't mean she was a deacon. Deacon also means servant. And so they use the leadership language loosely in the early church. I hope that makes sense. Paul says, has alcohol ever affected your medication? So I was on Wellbutrin before I knew I was bipolar when I was on antidepressant medication. Wellbutrin, the alcohol makes you have seizures. So I never drank when I was on Wellbutrin. I would say it never has affected my medicine. I've never heard that like I shouldn't drink on certain medications. I just know that alcohol is a depressant. So it puts you in depression. So that's why I don't drink, because it would put me in depression, but not because it would mess with my medicine. Google account says, yeah, my medication really helps with the mania and depression, the affective part of schizoaffective, but the schizophrenia part, not as much. But without the Latuda, I would have more frequent voices. That's so interesting. So I'm sure in our lifetime, they'll develop more and more medicines that help with that. Paul says there have been women leaders like Mother Mary. Yes, in the early church, in the New Testament, there are female missionaries, female teachers, female prophets, females leading worship, females reading scripture at church, but they were not bishops, they were not priests. That has never happened. There were women who were such leaders in the early church. If Jesus wanted to make them an apostle, why didn't he make Mary Magdalene an apostle? Why not Martha? Why not the women who are financially supporting him? Why not Deborah? Like, there are so many women who are following him and part of his ministry. Why not his mother Mary? But no, the powers of apostolic succession have only ever been given to men. So it's not at all pushing women down, because from the beginning, women have had so many roles in the church, and we have so many roles today in Catholicism. We can become youth ministers, campus ministers, read scripture, lead worship, help passing the collection, lectors. Like, there's so many things, teachers, so many things for women to do, but they're just not bishops and priests. They never have been. Did you drink when you were COC? Yes. So once I was legal when I was a senior in college, and then I became Catholic like 2 years later. So yeah, my parents never drank growing up, so it was like very Puritan, but my friends in college were more chill. The COC environment there was way chill. Alexander said Mary Magdalene was basically the 13th apostle. She's called the apostle of the apostles because she preached the resurrection. Yet she wasn't present at the Last Supper. I wonder why. So exactly, like, the Last Supper only had men, and it's not at all to put women down. Like, I am such an outspoken, huge leader, like, big personality, analytical woman, and I'm not offended that I can't be a priest. Jake says, bye, Lizzie and everyone. I'm on vacation. God bless. God bless you too. Love you, Lizzie. You have influenced me to become Orthodox or Catholic. Yay, definitely become Catholic. Read the book Upon This Rock by Stephen Ray. I'll put it in the chat. It will help you become Catholic. Louisa says, I'm going to bed. Good night. Good night. So I assume you live in Europe or Africa. Have you ever lost yourself around a relic? I've broken down in uncomfortable tears before at adoration. I've never cried because of a relic before, but I probably like teared up, but not like sobbing in front of a relic. If Orthodox have apostolic succession, why is the Catholic Church the only true church? So the Orthodox Church has a lot of sacraments in it. They have a lot of true parts of Christianity, but they're physically separated by us because the trust, ironically, the source of orthodoxy, like lowercase orthodoxy, which means like straight truth about Christianity, orthodoxy was always measured by being united to the Roman bishop and united to the other bishops. And so now that they're not united with the Roman bishop, ironically, they were called Orthodox. You need to be united with the Roman bishop. And so that's just how the church was always set up. I recommend the book Upon This Rock by Stephen Ray. It talks about the whole situation, about the power of the Pope. Starting in the 1st century, there's evidence for the power of the Pope. And so they left, and then they made the Archbishop of Constantinople the new first among equals. So they left the Roman bishop. So yeah, it's really simple. Joshua, what was the Bible app you use? So I have a lot of Christian apps on my phone, but the Laudate app, sorry, my boyfriend recently started learning Latin. So now I know how to pronounce Latin, but Laudate app is Laudate. So I'll put the Laudate app is like a Catholic app. So it has a lot of prayers in it and like Liturgy of the Hours. So it's a great Catholic app. And then there's another app that is just scripture where you can also listen to the Bible. And it is called the YouVersion Bible app. I'm also putting it in the chat so you guys can see it. So those are 2 apps that I use. Also, the Bible Gateway app is really good. It has like Greek and Hebrew in it and a lot of different translations as well. Let me see if there's anything else that I really... Wait, is my Amazon package delivered? I just got an email. I might need to... Oh my goodness, I actually went downstairs. I ordered a lot of stuff to Trevor's apartment because I think I'm deficient in a lot of things. And I've started taking B12 supplements, and then I'm also taking iron, and I'm also taking protein because my diet, like I'm not eating enough food, and I just like I'm dizzy all the time. So I was talking to my psychiatrist about it, and she said like advice on like what to add into my diet. And she also said my medications always make me feel dizzy, but yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, so I ordered some stuff to Trevor's apartment. That's where I am right now. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm gonna run downstairs and get my Amazon package. I'm gonna give you guys an ad to listen to, and I will be right back really soon. I'm back. Is anyone still here? Guys, everything was stolen. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't know what the deal was. You guys are all still here? Why, you guys are so nice. So, this is my mask, by the way. Literally everything was stolen. I don't understand. Like, maybe, let me double check this. It says delivered. I don't understand. That's crazy. It says delivered. It's bizarre. Anyways, I am so sick of people stealing packages. Like, my apartment complex I lived in a year ago, literally, I would walk in and there would be packages open So like they opened the packages, looked in, saw if they wanted anything. So like you guys know I work from home. So my roommates would be texting me in the middle of the day and they'd be like, Liz, go run. And I would like run to the mailroom, literally running because I knew people would steal them. And Trevor's apartment complex, stuff gets stolen too. And he'll walk in and packages will be open. So this is like a thing like on the West Coast, on the East Coast, like, anyways, I ordered iron pills and protein powder and they're not here. So anyways, we missed you, Lizzie. I missed you too. Use this as video evidence. I mean, I don't live here, so I don't care that much. Like, obviously, Trevor's gotten theology books stolen before. And, sorry, I ran. I thought everyone was going to leave the live stream, so I was, like, running, and I'm, like, so hot now. Okay, wait, there's a fan thing. I'm going to put it on higher level. Here we go. I put it from 1 to 3. Oh, I'm going to move this. There's like... Okay, there we go. Okay, that feels so good. Okay. I'm still looking at the sofa. File a complaint now so they know that it was stolen as soon as it was delivered. That's awful, Lizzie. Hopefully they just marked it delivered and hasn't been there yet. Yeah, I think that might be it. Because I assume like I even like ran outside and looked if the Amazon truck was like there, but hadn't, like I like ran outside and like looked around because I've seen the Amazon truck before, like where I live too, and it like says Prime on it and everything. So yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Chat with Amazon, that's better than the phone. I'm a valued Amazon customer. Did you get your package? What state are you in? Or was it stolen? It was stolen, you guys. Yeah. Can you explain the Catholic calendar? No. Are we in ordinary time? I assume so. Guys, I've only been Catholic for like 2 years. I do not know anything. Catholic, I assume we're in ordinary time until Advent, right? Let's see. Ordinary time, USCCB, liturgical considerations for September. So basically, Christmas time and Easter are non-ordinary time. They highlight the central mysteries of the Paschal mystery, namely the incarnation, death on the cross, resurrection, and ascension of Jesus. The Sundays and a week of ordinary time, on the other hand, take us through the life of Christ. This is the time of conversion. This is living the life of Christ. Okay. Let's see. What is a good Bible version for Catholics? So there are two. There is the NAB, which is on Bible Gateway. It's the revised edition, so it's the NBA, or the NRSV, which is also a really good Bible translation that like scholars use. So because my boyfriend uses it, I started using it in my videos, but I personally read the NAB. Casey says she is just too cute. How do you have so much energy? Having an update? Yeah, I think I'm having an update. But I always have so much energy because I eat really healthy. I eat loads of carbs, healthy carbs, whole grains, no processed food. And I work out every day, which gives me endorphins. So we'll have to say some prayers to St. Anthony that no one stole anything. And then if something marked it delivered before they delivered it, that will be reprimanded and not do that anymore. Ignatius Press has great footnotes. I'll put it in the chat. I have the Little Rock Catholic, it's in all caps, study Bible. That's the one that I personally recommend. Do you take meds to fight depression or to make you happy? I take meds to get rid of depression and manic episodes. I would say that I'm happier off meds, like on an emotional level, But I feel like more I don't know how to describe it. I feel more myself when I'm manic just because I was manic for so many years. But I would say that happiness, like Aristotle talks about happiness, and this is the way Catholicism understands it, as eudaimonia in Greek. And eudaimonia means human flourishing. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're experiencing pleasure all the time. So I'm happier in a philosophical sense when I'm on meds. But off meds, when I'm manic, usually off meds, I'm happier. Do you eat white rice? I eat brown rice. Michelle says, I'm going to see if the Catholic store is open. Aw. Someone commented in a different language. Do you want to translate that? Wait, let me see if I can put this in Google Translate and it can come up. It looks like there aren't any great matches for this search. Let's do Google Translate with it and see if anything comes up. Oh, okay. So it's Aramaic, Amharic, which I assume is Aramaic. Anyways, it says, we write a book that speaks of her glory and majesty, honoring her name, praising her, and obeying her queen. Maybe it's supposed to be male pronouns. We write a book that speaks of his glory and majesty, honoring his name, praising him, and obeying his queen, which is Mary. I think that's what it means. Otherwise, it's talking about honoring my name, which I don't think is what he was trying to say. It's an Ethiopian language. Okay. Go to an Asian Chinese store and get red rice. It's meatier. I eat brown rice because it has the whole grains in it. I have so many Bibles, but I mostly read the Revised Standard Version. Do you do tithing or directly donate to ministries? So I do both. I tithe money at my parish, and I also donate to nonprofits. So basically, anytime I get paid, I do 10%. So I get paid like all throughout the week. I get paid from YouTube, Patreon, sponsorships, my campus ministry job. So whenever I get paid, I donate. My friend has had a gift-wrapped Christmas present stolen. It was the Treatise on Law by St. Thomas Aquinas. The Treatise on Law by St. Thomas Aquinas. That's so funny how people steal theology books. They're probably like really disappointed because I don't know. The people who steal, I just don't see them as like philosophical intellectuals, you know? So I bet they're kind of upset when that's what they got stolen. What I don't understand is that when people steal packages, if they don't like it, why don't you just put it back out there for the person to get? But maybe they just always resell it. What version did you say you listened to on the app? NRSV or NAB? Must be windy there. Your hair is flowing. I have a fan right here that's blowing because I just ran to get my packages and they were all stolen. Let's see what the Amazon app says now. I think it just didn't come, or someone stole all the packages because there were not any packages there. They're all delivered today. This is so sad. Okay, let's continue the live stream. Why do so many people, mostly Protestants, think that Catholicism is a false religion? It's because we're living in a Protestant majority country, so there's just a lot of propaganda out there about it. Hello from Brazil. Hi. Lizzie, did you get the Word on Fire Bible? Yes, I've been reading it. I love it so much. I made a video showing inside of it. Michelle says, I love Spanish rice, especially with my vegetarian burritos. I love making burritos so much. They're so good. There's also the 21st Century Bible. Is the Doomy Reigns Bible good? I don't know if I spelled that right. I don't like it. So like I do virtual Bible studies through Zoom, and the people who use the Doomy Reigns Bible Bible translation, it's really weird. Like it's so confusing. It's not similar to any of our other translations. So I personally don't like it. It's like old English, so I just don't recommend it. I searched for the YouVersion app on Android, but it looks like it's not available. Is there any apps on Android? Try the Bible Gateway app. I put it in the chat. Did you know the oldest Bible found is in Ethiopia? No, that's so cool. That's sad that YouVersion isn't on Android because it's a really, really good app. I'm reading your guys' comments from when I was gone. Wait, what is the topic of the live? I just jumped in. So we were talking about like bipolar disorder, but it's been like an hour into the live stream, so we stopped talking about that. Do you like traditional Latin Mass? Yes, but I don't go to it regularly. I did go to it for 5 months at one point when I was like first becoming Catholic, but then I moved back to California and went to just like a Novus Ordo parish. And so because of that, like my church community and my priest is there, so I don't want to go to a different one. Oh, it is on Android, YouVersion Bible app. Interesting. YouVersion is on Android. I have it. Okay, so maybe you're just searching for it bad. Search like Bible app. Maybe it will come up. Random question. What do you think of Christians who think they can't expose their thighs because of God telling the priest to cover their nakedness in, I believe, Exodus? Modesty question? I don't understand that question at all. I think that's really bizarre. How do you manage your brain emotions feeling muted when you're on medication? So I go on a different medication. If I start feeling numb, I'm like, this medication, it's too high of a dosage, so I'm going to go down the dosage or get a completely different medication. So I'm really honest with my psychiatrist, and if that's happening, then I change my medication. Oh, it's just named Bible on Android. Do you guys keep the Sabbath on a Sunday? I've heard like some people doing that, where like on Sunday they don't do any work, but they only do like devotional activities and go to mass. I'm so curious about that because like it would be so hard for me because I work all the time and I love working. So not doing YouTube stuff would be really, really hard. What's your favorite mood stabilizer? Lamictal, lamotrigine. It's also called lamotrigine, but Lamictal like blocks me from going into depression. And obviously the most traumatic part of bipolar disorder is when I was in depression. So it's really, really nice. Do you think Jehovah's Witnesses are Christians? So according to Catholicism, officially they are not because they do not believe in the Trinity. I always thought to be Christian, you have to believe in the Trinity. Yeah, technically. So yeah, you're correct. My general practitioner thinks I might be low on calcium, so she wants me to be tested. Interesting. Why did they change it to Sunday and not keep Saturday? Because Jesus resurrected from the dead on Sunday. Did you ever have ADHD brought up as a possibility on the way to your bipolar diagnosis? For some reason, I'm starting to think I either have both bipolar 1, but it could be wrong. No, I've never had like psychiatrist say she thinks I have ADHD. A lot of people who are bipolar get diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, and it's like the wrong diagnosis and they're actually bipolar. But then also you could have both ADHD and bipolar, but for me, I never got diagnosed as one. LOL, I was trying to find out if God has a standard of modesty, and I came across people who think it's a sin to expose the thigh. Michelle said, so Mormons are not Christians because they don't believe in the Trinity. Unfortunately, they're not Christians because of that. Do certain foods cause you anxiety like salt or caffeine? So I don't get anxiety, but caffeine can make me go more manic. So if I am manic, then I don't drink coffee if that's a problem. And I'm actually majorly cutting down on my coffee. Any other new music you would like to recommend to us? Yes. So Cimarelli did a cover. Let me look on my phone and I'll show you all the music. Okay, cool. I moved my music app during Lent and I never moved it back because I gave up music for Lent. So Cimarelli did a cover of Before You Go, which is so good and so sad. It's about the guy who wrote it. His aunt committed suicide and he wrote it about that. So I just think it's a really, really deep, beautiful, sad song, Before You Go. And then I recently discovered from an Imagine Dragons album a couple albums back. It's called Rise Up by Imagine Dragons. It's really, really good. And then Holiday by Little Mix is good. Nikki DeMar, she's a YouTuber. She made a song called Alone in My Car. It's really, really good. And then obviously the new Taylor Swift album is amazing. I Love Me by Demi Lovato. Breakup Song by Little Mix. And then Be Kind by Halsey and Marshmello is so good. And then Stuck With You by Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber. Stuck With You is so funny because it's literally about being in quarantine. People always say that the Orthodox churches and the Catholic churches will unite, but whenever I watch Orthodox YouTubers and read the comments, they aren't very accepting. So Catholicism is more accepting of Orthodox than Orthodox is of Catholicism. I like the Ed Sheeran medley they did this weekend. Yeah, Cimarelli did an Ed Sheeran medley. It was so good. I really liked it a lot. I'm a Protestant, and you taught me so much about Catholicism in the early church. Thank you. Become Catholic. We would love so much if you became Catholic. I made a whole video on why be Catholic and not Christian. Not just Christian is what I said. Obviously, Catholicism, I believe, is Christianity. Let's see. Here we go. Why be Catholic?
Ask them to pray for us.
I'm going to link it. Definitely go watch the video. Decide if you want to be Catholic or not. Any plans for All Saints Day or Halloween this year? I'm not a really big Halloween person at all. I like Orthodox chants, and I'm not Catholic or Orthodox. You should listen to Phoebe Bridgers. Okay, I'll screenshot this. Have you ever been in hypomania? For years, yeah. So I'm uploading a video soon. I just made a video talking about what it's like being manic, and a lot of the things are overlap for hypomania. So definitely get ready to watch it. Universal Youth by Catholic band The Thirsting. I've never heard of them. I'll screenshot this and look it up later. I love Phoebe Bridgers. Is she Catholic? The Orthodox and Catholic Church will unite. There's a prophecy about it in the book of Victor, which is an Egyptian saint. Interesting. What advice would you give for someone who's just starting to explore Christianity? I recommend Googling Catholic Church, finding the one closest to your house, calling the priest and saying, I want to be Catholic. How do I start RCIA? RCIA is the class you take to become Catholic, which Catholicism is the original Christianity. So I recommend going to RCIA, and you will learn so much about Christianity. And I have a whole video where I talk about how to understand Christianity more. And And I talk about resources, and here we go. How to become Catholic. What
American Idol
research.
judge Randy Jackson struck.
So I share some websites and apps. And then I have another, sorry, I accidentally put more. Here we go. And then I have another video called Books I Recommend to read, like the top 20 most
Christ by Thomas Joseph White. This is just straight up theology.
Books to read. I recommend both of those videos, and they will really help you out. And also the thing I just linked, Why Be Catholic and Not Just Christian, watch that video as well. And also you can DM me on Twitter or Instagram if you have more questions. I Love Me by Demi Lovato. I hope Demi releases her new album soon. I know, it'll be so good. I love her so much. I particularly find the fact about the real presence of the Eucharist beautiful and interesting. I have a whole video talking about John 6 and the real presence of the Eucharist. I'll link that in the chat as well.
Protestant scholars admit and accept that trogo, chewing, gnawing, munching of raw vegetables grasped by animals. The rumors about the Christians is that they were cannibals. And so Jesus repeats and repeats and repeats, crunch and munch and chew and gnaw on my flesh.
Crunch and munch and chew and gnaw on my flesh is the translation of eat in John 6. Okay. Lizzie, you should listen to London Grammar. Okay, I'll screenshot that. I literally have a folder on my computer of these screenshots. Classic vid. I know, I love the intro so much. It's so funny.
After all of this, they think Jesus is being literal. Even Protestant scholars admit.
Okay. I love my intros that are like da 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 music. I think they're so fun. I love the video of the Eucharist. Loud, sorry. Have you ever listened to Saint Hildegard's work? No. Hi, Lizzie. Do you intend to make a video about the Marian apparitions? Yes, it's on my 2-film list, so I'm definitely going to do that soon. Mormons are not Christians because they are not baptized. Their baptism is invalid because they baptize in the name of Jesus, not in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, so they are not Christians. Yes, correct. I personally think that if the Orthodox Church and Catholic Church unite, so many Protestants will come home. Absolutely. I just got shivers when you said that. I think so many, like millions, would become the true Christianity. Check Lizzie getting into the crunching munching. Which Marian apparition do you want me to make a video about first? The thing is, I want to start with my Guadalupe, but I should probably just order from Amazon. Actually, I don't know where. My friend has my book, and I haven't really been seeing any of my friends in LA, but maybe I should just be like, can you give me my book back and wear our masks or something? But I have this amazing book on Guadalupe, and I gave to so I was the sponsor for one of my friends last year into Catholicism, and so I gave her a ton of theology books, and I haven't gotten them back from her, a lot of them back from her. Also, guys, so I'm wearing magnetic eyelashes right now, and the wind isn't making them fall off, so they are magnetic. They're doing a good job. Guadalupe classic. Who are your favorite saints? I really like Saint Jerome and Saint Chrysostom. They have really good treatises and homilies that I really enjoy reading. Magnetic? Yeah, you put eyeliner on that has magnets on it, and then the eyelashes have magnets on them too, and it connects. What is the Guadalupe book called? It's in my Amazon shop. So just Google Lizzie's Answers Amazon shop, and the first link is it. Lizzie's Answers Amazon page. and then click on theology books. I'm clicking right now, and then the book will come up in the theology book section. So I'll link it here if you guys are interested in theology books you want to read. And I make commission, so you guys get to read theology and you donate to my channel. Do you read multiple books at once or finish before starting another? Multiple books at once, always. Virgin of Guadalupe and Our Lady of Fatima. I don't understand what Lul is saying. How many approved Marian apparitions are there? Probably dozens, I would say. I don't know. Let's Google. How many approved Marian apparitions? Here we go. List of Marian apparitions. Jump to approved. Approved public veneration. Oh, wow. It's a really, really long list. I don't even think they say how many are on the list. Yeah, it doesn't say. You'd have to go through and count them. So I'm not going to do that. There are only 11? Wow. I'm going to go get more water, you guys. I will be right back. Okay, cool. I was wondering if you're writing on your Word on Fire Bible. So much. I have written all over the Word on Fire. Grant, why are you talking about that? That's really weird. First book in the Bible to read while in RCIA, I would start by reading the Gospel of Luke, and then then the book of Acts. Music recommendations from Maya. Okay, I will screenshot this. Rome is in Italy, right? Yes, it is. Trevor says he misses me. I miss him too. Okay, you guys, I'm waiting for more questions. If there aren't more questions, I think I'm gonna go. I meant when you got up. Never mind, just joking. Oh, yeah, actually, like, I never have to pee in the middle of live streams. I always plan it out so that I don't, because I think that would just be really awkward to, I guess I went and got packages, so it wouldn't be awkward at all, but that's so cute, Lizzie, that he says he misses me. Are you still on the East Coast? Yes, I'm on the East Coast. So I'm going to Mass today. I went last week, and then I'm going today. Do you have a Word on Fire Bible? Yes, we've been talking about this for like 5 minutes. I'm getting so many questions about the Word on Fire Bible. Have you made a video on your own view of Mormonism? Yes, but I had to delete it because I wasn't aware when I made it. So basically, I made the video talking about how Joseph Smith was bipolar, and I wasn't aware that Catholicism doesn't consider them Christians. So in the video, I was like, I consider them Christians, and this was like before, like right when I became Catholic, so I didn't know yet. So yeah, I immediately deleted it. I was like, this is so problematic. I don't know how I made that mistake. Are you thinking of voting for Kanye West? He'd be the first known bipolar president. So actually, Theodore Roosevelt was bipolar, and I forget who else. I was reading an article, and it was like all the mental illnesses of all the presidents with a lot of evidence. And yeah, Theodore Roosevelt was the last bipolar president. I think one of the earlier ones was as well. So he wouldn't be the first. How long have you been with Travs? So Trevor hates being called Travis, so he just called him Travis. We've been together for 3 years. I did a 3-year post the other day, which is the day we started talking, which I guess wasn't the date that we like defined our relationship, but I consider it. I had in my calendar the day we started talking to repeat forever. So yes, I'm voting for Kanye West. When Pope Francis met with the Patriarch of Constantinople, the Patriarch said that reunification is inevitable. Oh, that's so cool. I really admire the Mormons on their evangelism, though. They really go out into the world. That is true. It's so hot here. It's literally hotter in here, like in this part of the Northeast, than in California, because LA has like the breeze from the ocean, and Florida does as well, like where I grew up in Florida. Because I was talking to my mom and I'm like, is global warming making everything like 20 degrees hotter? And she's like, no, it's just you're used to living where the ocean breeze is making it cooler. So the rest of the country gets really, really hot during the summer, and I had no idea. Because, like, I always visited my boyfriend in Nashville, and it was, like, so hot. And I was like, what's the deal with global warming? And then I realized, and then, like, when I visit here in the summer, I'm like, what's the deal? Why is it so hot in Pennsylvania? And then I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she's like, you're used to ocean. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, global warming is affecting things, but not, like, making the weather 20 degrees hotter suddenly. So that makes sense. Did you ever hang out in Balboa Park in San Diego? Maybe, and I just forgot the name because I've been there several times. I don't like the breeze from the ocean. You don't? That's weird. Ironic, though, I wanted to be a missionary, but they preferred me to get married instead when Michelle was Mormon. What's your favorite apparition? Our Lady of Guadalupe, obviously, because I live in the Americas, so she's iconic. It's always hot in the Philippines. Mormons believe that Jesus is Satan's brother. Really? Guys, I'm going to go grab my importer for my videos, and then I'm going to start importing my footage into my computer just so that it's ready to go. Okay. Oh, I could literally sit on the couch. This is way cozier than sitting on the ground. I always sit on the ground. I just find, like, I don't have a tripod because I had a tripod that I left with Trevor, but then I lost the top of it, so then the camera couldn't go on it anymore. So then I realized that I can just, like, use a chair as a tripod. But, yeah, so that requires me to sit on the ground because a chair is, like, makes sense on the ground, you know? So, yes. Let's import footage. Is that a skull I see back there? Yeah, it is. Trevor's a weird dude, right? Why do you have a skull? But I filmed a video at Jackie Angel's house, and her husband had a skull. So maybe it's like a guy thing to have a skull. I don't know. Okay. My camera is loading. Why is it not loading? Okay, cool. So I think all of these videos are Mania. I hope it was focused the whole time. Let's see if it's focused or not. Oh yeah, it's totally focused. Okay, cool. Uh-oh, are my eyeliners not matching? Uh-oh, that sucks. One of my winged eyeliner doesn't look good. Maybe it will once I edit it. Okay, it's not that bad actually. It looks like there's a person in the window when I was filming. What is in the window? What? I'm kind of freaked out, you guys. It looks like there's a person in the window when I'm filming. Like, it looks like there's a person looking in while I was filming. What is going on? I am really freaked out right now. What is that? Was it like a bird or something? Is there someone outside while I was filming? Wait, so it was like right... Oh! Maybe that's what that is. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, I was like really freaked out. So this right here, do you see this, guys? When I was looking at it small, this thing looked like a face looking in the window. And I was like, that's terrifying. What is going on right now? So, when's the next video or live with Trevor happening? He said he's okay with doing a video again. So, he's working today. He doesn't work tomorrow. He has like a summer class because he's learning Latin with one of his friends, so he does that a lot. But I'll figure out when he doesn't have a class, and then I'll announce on Twitter and my Facebook page. Ha 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 ha! Heart attack for a moment. Is it the way the light is shining? Remember death. Okay, I'm gonna sit on the couch and read the live chat from my phone. Let's see if I can find the live chat. Here we go. Here we go. That's so weird. Here we go. That's so weird. Here we go. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm gonna sit on the couch, you guys. Okay. The Summer Life. Have you seen the new show, The Chosen series? The man who plays Jesus is a Catholic, and it's giving a lot of Protestants Catholic exposure. I recommend it. So, literally, you guys, so many people have been like, have you watched Chosen? Have you watched Chosen? And I don't watch TV or movies, so yeah, I didn't actually watch it at all. Catholics have night mass, right? My mom liked that about the Catholic Church, Saturday and Sunday night mass. Yeah, so if you're working on Sunday, you can go to mass on Saturday night, which I think is really, really cool. Where can I watch the show The Chosen? Yeah, that's a really good question. If you guys really want us to watch The Chosen, how do we do that? The Chosen is great. I know, in like every live stream lately, you guys have been like, watch The Chosen, watch The Chosen. The skull is memento mori. Yeah, I don't know how long Trevor has had that, but we should do a apartment tour of Trevor's apartment because he has so many, like, guys, I wish you could see over here. There's like a bajillion books, and he has them in like sections and all this organization, and then he has like really elaborate decorations on his desk. I mean, you guys have seen from the live stream like different views of his apartment, but like my apartment is really boring, and his is like 3,000 books. Okay. So, let's see. Monasteries usually have schools. It helps meditate on death, to pray for the dead, and also to meditate on the resurrection body. That's really cool then. 2 Catholic YouTubers live streaming this Sunday. Return to tradition and Lizzie. That's cool. There is Chosen app and you can watch it through. You can watch The Chosen on YouTube or on an app. Just search The Chosen. Interesting. Do you have to pay for it? Maybe I'll watch it if... I just like cannot take time away from YouTube because it takes so long to make videos. And then I'm also prepping. So I'm like a campus ministry, campus minister, and the schools are starting up. So I'm preparing Bible studies and videos and everything for them. So it's taking a lot of time. Okay, I'm downloading the Chosen app, 12 plus. Why do they even have to say that? Like, what is there that a 12-year-old can't watch that an 8-year-old couldn't watch? It's free. Wow. Guys, like the live stream. Thumbs up the live stream for sure. Okay. Michelle says, I got rid of a lot of books because I switched to ebooks. Apparently, though, at my dad's, I have a lot more in the closets. Yeah, I have a lot of books at my parents' house, too. The Chosen is amazing, and the app is free. Made me cry so many times with its beauty. Oh, okay, how about I'll watch it then if it's free. You guys are like so intense. You're like, watch The Chosen, and then you're like, watch Hi, Lizzie. I don't know if this is the right place. My sister is in a state of shock because of what happened. Someone tried to enter her house. Please pray that she gets calm. She isn't a Christian. That's so crazy that someone could try to break into your house. I'm making sure right now that the door here is locked. Okay. The door is locked. Trevor would get so mad at me if I was like using his apartment to film. And then I like left the door open and then someone came and like attacked. He would be so mad about, like, if I got hurt, he would be mad at me, though, because he'd be like, it's your fault for not locking the door. Okay. You can make a reacting to the Chosen series. Okay, I'll put that in my list of videos to make. Video ideas. React to Chosen. Okay, I have it down. Manuel says, I've been getting a lot of signs and videos about the rapture. Do you think it's coming soon? No, I don't think it's coming soon. Sorry. Raul, are you dating an app to see the pacifier? What? I don't understand what you guys are talking about. Grant says, you look fine. Thank you. It's amazing that the show is crowdfunded too. Yeah, that is really cool. Michelle says, I'm OCD when I leave my apartment about locking the door and making sure the stove is off. It's a long reason why. I hope you didn't ever get in a fire. That'd be really, really sad. Lul says, ancient liturgies include Latin, Greek, and Arabic. Yep. Manuel says, I always triple check my door is locked. Wow. So in my old apartment, when I had like 4 or 5 roommates, so they would literally leave the door open. Like, it was crazy. And the thing is, me and one of my other roommates worked from home, so like we were there a lot, but sometimes I would come back and someone would like be in a shower and the door would be unlocked coming in the main house, or the balcony would be open. And oh my goodness, one time, you guys, so the balcony door was not locked. We lived on the first floor. So the screen was closed but not locked and the door was open. And all of our MacBook computers were on the table right there. So someone could have come in and stolen everything. Like, we are so lucky. So no one cared about security in my old apartment. And it really irritated me. Like, one of my friends, they had access to the balcony in their bedroom. And they would, like, leave the door open with the breeze and only lock the screen door. And, like, someone could cut the screen door open so easily and come in. So I would always go and lock it. And it was just, like, no one cared about security. It was really, really, really annoying. Grant says, I dig the school. What are your favorite movies? So, I don't really like movies that much, which I know is weird because everyone in the world, like, connects over movies. But I really like, I can't even think of movies that I like because I just don't. So, my boyfriend and his twin brother are obsessed with a movie called Salem's Lot. Have you heard of it? So I've watched it like 5 times within 1 week because they just watch it over and over and over and over again. It's like this obsession with it. So it's a vampire movie. I think it's really, really good. So I like Salem's Lot. So I'll say that's my favorite so I can twin with them. I think it's a really good movie. I was expecting to not like it because a lot of Trevor's movies he likes are like horror and stuff and just not very good, but I like it a lot. Lizzie, there's a movie coming out about Fatima. I know, because everyone was like, watch the movie trailer, watch the movie trailer, watch the movie trailer. So I remember it coming out about the 1917 Mary apparition. The release date is late August. Bert said, when I lived in Louisiana, I never locked my doors. My friends could come in whenever. I guess if you're living in a really safe area, but like where we lived, it was like a very like touristy. Okay, I can tell you guys, I don't live there anymore, but I lived in West Hollywood, right off of Melrose Boulevard. And what was the other street? Fountain? No, not Fountain. Faulkner. It started with an F. Anyway, so it was right off of Melrose Avenue. So it was like a very iconic part of LA. My rent was super cheap. I only paid $600 because I had a roommate and there were like 5 of us total. And yeah, it was like a really public area. Like people would come there all the time. There was a lot of shopping. So that's why I was really upset when they wouldn't lock the door, because there's like so many people in the like really like one street away. There were so many people. You have no gun? I am so scared that I would kill myself if I had a gun, because as someone with bipolar, I have a 1 in 2 chance of attempting suicide and a 1 in 4 chance of killing myself from depression. So I would never like own a weapon that I could kill myself with. The world is beautiful 9. Hi, how are you doing? Can you show us your altar? I'm not in my apartment right now. Lizzie, you have knives at home. Those are weapons. I know, but I could never see myself stabbing myself to death, whereas I could see myself shooting myself to death. When do you think the second coming will happen? Not in our lifetime. Do you really have to worry about security in the US? Yes, people's houses get broken into all the time. That's why like most people wear Manuel says one of my worst fears is Catholics is someone coming into the house. Sorry, I'm getting your comments confused. Why do you use Apple MacBooks? So my editing software I love, it's called Final Cut Pro, and you can only use it on a MacBook computer. So that's why I personally have always owned a Mac, because I've always, like the entire time I've owned a laptop, I've been running my YouTube channel. So yes. Caitlin is here. Hi, how are you doing? Ukmi says, not trying to be mean. Okay, so this is about to be really offensive. But it's just being emotionally convinced that guns are more dangerous than knives. Either can be dangerous than the other depending on the situation. Well, then I'm glad I have knives, so if someone breaks in, I can stab them. I could not see myself killing someone, though, unless they were trying to kill someone else. But I personally, like, good thing that people with bipolar can't get into the military, because I would, like, refuse to kill someone if I was in the military. So, and women should totally be drafted. I think it's so stupid that men are drafted and women aren't. If we're in a feminist, complete equality society, it just doesn't make sense. Is suicide a mortal sin if the person commits it because of some mental illness problem? No. What I've read from Catholicism, it's not a mortal sin if that's the situation. Bert says, where I live at now, I've experienced a lot of crime for years. Keith said, if you don't have guns, people will still do bad things. No guns were used in 9/11. Yeah, but 9/11 was a very elaborate murder. I feel like the average person who does a shooting isn't gonna like be like, oh, guns aren't in the US, now I'm gonna drive an airplane into a building. I feel like they just wouldn't go and do anything if there weren't guns in the country. In Australia, they had the biggest homicide via someone shooting people with a gun of anywhere in the world. Like, it's never been 4 people were killed. And then they completely got rid of guns, and everyone was okay with it because of the massacre. And after that, they have never had another shooting after that. So I'm not saying the US is Australia, but that happened in one country, and it seems like it works really, really well. Son of Saul, what are your ideas on gun ownership? So Trevor has actually said that when we get married and live together, he wants to own a gun just because of stalkers that I have, who literally like send me videos and pictures with them pointing weapons to the camera. He just like doesn't feel safe if people know that we're living together and like where we're living together and stuff. So yeah, it's really hard because like I know he wants to protect me and protect himself obviously as well, because like if someone's coming to attack me, he's there as well. He would be there as well. So yeah, it's really hard because like my dad is really against guns and my mom is really against guns. So the way I've grown up is just to like not trust guns, if that makes sense. Ukmi says they're already talking about banning knives in the UK. London has either the same or more crime than New York. That's crazy. TLFC asks, have your view on men's rights changed since your video a couple years ago? I like that video because you actually digested the information from the Red Pill film. More similar questions like this coming. Yes, my views have not changed at all since I made my video talking about the Red Pill movie. So if you're interested, YouTube search Liz the Answers Red Pill and my video will come up. I think that's really, really important. I talked about mental illness when it comes to men, suicide when it comes to men, issues that they deal with disproportionately. I think coming from a mental illness perspective, I have a lot of insight because I have a more masculine brain, and so therapy doesn't work for me in a lot of ways, and I don't like the way they do therapy, and so I can't imagine for a dude how horrible therapy would be and not work as well. I'm going to increase this. Cool. I'm going to move this because I feel like it could be affecting the audio of the live stream. Here we go. Because I feel like it was blowing into the live stream. I'm going to adjust the lights too. Guys, I have 3 sets of camera lights. I have my parents' house, Trevor's house, my house. No, not houses, but apartments. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Caitlin, that's so sweet that Trevor wants to protect you. Bert says many crimes are all committed by illegal guns, not legal guns. The one thing that I learned about because there's a comedian from Australia who talked about guns, and he said that in Australia, the guns, like the illegal guns, went up to like thousands of dollars, whereas a legal gun would be hundreds. So the black market was so expensive that a lot of people didn't do crimes. Like the average person wouldn't put that much effort into it. Jackie says, how do you form a better relationship with your parents? I know you had problems when you became Catholic. So I honestly think the best way to have a good relationship with your parents is to just ask questions and listen. I think that's the most beautiful way to get along with them. Ask questions, listen, make them feel understood. I avoid bringing up Catholic stuff a lot. I just think it's not a good idea to talk about it because it causes tension. So I don't talk about my life as much as I did before. So I'm not like, oh, wow, my church did this amazing Catholic retreat and we did Eucharistic adoration. And then there were like Mary and Joseph statues there too. Like, I'm not going to talk about that with them. I'm not going to be like, I just made a video on Mary apparitions. I made a video on the Eucharist. Like, this Bible verse is Catholicism. Like, I don't share my life with them anymore. I share some things, but not most things. And it's really sad, but that's like the best way to have a peaceful relationship since they don't like that I'm Catholic. You guys are talking about the Second Amendment. Tell Trevor to get a 12-gauge shotgun. Oh my goodness. So sorry. So what about protection? What if someone tries to kill you? We're worried about you. So I used to live on the first floor of an apartment. Now I don't live on the first floor. So I personally think you're safer in an apartment complex than in a house. Because in a house, on the first floor, they can like break into the window and get in. But like where I currently live, you would have to have like multiple keys to break in the door. Like I think it would be really hard to like figure out where I live and break in. Like it would take a lot of work. But I think when you're living in a house, you have to come up with like a really elaborate alarm system. Like the way my dad does it is he has a lot of spiky plants all around the property. So if someone's coming in at night, they're gonna like fall on a cactus and stab themselves. And then he even puts like glass under the window. So if you like step on it, you could get hurt and start bleeding by glass. And then my boyfriend's dad's house, he has like Oh, also lights go on. So sensor lights that if you walk near the house, a light goes on top of you. That encourages people to walk away. And then my boyfriend's dad's house, they have like an alarm thing. So if you go towards the window and touch it, an alarm goes off and wakes everyone up. So I feel like stuff like that really protects people from getting in the first place, because I would rather someone not get into the house or the apartment than be in a situation where someone with a gun is coming at me and I'm coming at them with my gun. You know what I mean? Like, it would be better for them to just never get in the first place. So I think that's the best option. And it's really scary thinking of getting married, because everyone knows Trevor's first and last name. My first and last name, less people know. So it's like, if we got a house in his name, people would be able to Google it and find out exactly where I live, which really freaks me out. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. Like, get a house in a gated community is like the only option to have extra security, but people can break into that too. So yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe always live in an apartment or condo situation. That's probably the safest. Lizzie, have you considered pepper spray for bears? That stuff is terrible. Yeah, maybe I should start carrying something like that around. Just purchase an AR for protection, only $650. Cass says, we used to live on the 11th floor and I had a turtle pet, and one day I put it on the balcony and it fell and died. That's so sad. I'm so sorry that your turtle died. That's super sad. Michelle said, nobody can get in this building without an ID, and they have to call us over the intercom at the front desk. So you live in a really, really safe place, for sure. Grant said, Lizzie, please explain masculine brain. I very much disagree. You are a girl. You did not have a masculine brain. You've only experienced a female brain. So everything is on a spectrum. When it comes to gender differences in brains, it's not like all men are this, all women are this. With some things, yes. But with other brain structure, it's like some people are in the middle. So I think I'm more in the middle. Just because my personality, I'm horrible at emotions. I'm very logical with how I think about things. I'm very black and white. It's just like, I feel like women should be better at emotional support and better at empathy. And that's not me at all. Like, I'm only logical about things and I'm just horrible at emotional support. So in my videos, like, because I'm bipolar, I had empathy, but now that my medication has gotten rid of a lot of bipolar symptoms, I'm back to just being like straight logic and horrible at emotions. So that's like my main thing. Caitlin says, if you get a house, get a huge fence with an alarm and security system. Fatima says, put all the security in your house alarm, censor every resource. Yes, seriously, that's what would have to work. Condos are like homes, you own it. Yeah, but condos can be more in like an apartment structure where it's like different levels and like a main door you have to get in between the other ones. So Ukmi says, I'm not an expert in guns, but it's embarrassing to see Democrats and liberals making mistakes just naming guns. They're not even familiar with them. And get a dog guard. I hate dogs, and Trevor hates dogs. That's the thing. So we're never going to get a dog. We would only get a cat. And I totally agree that dogs are really good alarm systems of like preventing people from getting in. But yeah, I would never want a dog at all. My uncle lives in a condo. It's 1 a.m. here and I need to sleep. Good night. Good night. Have a good time sleeping. I'm going to go soon too. Let's see if my video footage is imported yet. I'm going to edit this video. It's still importing? How is that possible? Uh-oh, I think something's really messed up with this. It's saying, uh-oh, it's frozen too. So I'm going to have to exit out of this and re-import. It's not responding. That's so weird that it's not responding. Okay, well, I'll keep live streaming then until the footage imports, because it takes so long to import sometimes, and it's really, really annoying. You should do a video on the holy fire in Jerusalem. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Let's see if the bipolar footage, we might have to delete what's already imported. Mania. Yeah, so I'm going to delete this. I don't even know how to explain it, but if you delete, if it like crashes halfway through deleting footage, and then you try to delete it again, and then you try to import it again, then it will never work, basically. So okay, let's try to import again. It was being kind of weird when I was importing, like it wasn't showing the images up, so maybe that's part of what was going on. Okay, create new event, Mania, and let's see if it imports. Okay, it's importing. I don't know what was going on before. Raul said, I saw a video on that recently. It was so cool and amazing. Michelle says, I love Golden Labs. The reason for the second is due to the importance of being self-reliant and self-sufficient. Interesting. Maya says, it's really crazy to me to find out that people actually get robbed, especially when like traveling in urban areas in different cities, then people get robbed a lot. Okay. Let's see. We've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I'm probably going to go when it's been to 2 hours. God, family, and guns. Oh my goodness, that's so ridiculous. Good that it's imported. Yeah, finally. It took so long. Grant says, well, you're a girl. I still disagree. Plus, I know some emotional men. Yeah, so then they have a more feminine brain. So it's just science where everything is on a spectrum when it comes, not everything, but a lot of things are on a spectrum when it comes to different genders with brains. It is best to get, Amy says, it's best to get evaluated by a psychiatrist or psychologist during a hypomanic episode of depression. My boyfriend is needing to get evaluated, and I'm part of the reason, but worried about him lying during hypomania. Go with him. Go with him and share his symptoms. I was saying, like, at the very beginning of this video, that my ex-boyfriend diagnosed me with bipolar disorder. He, like, went to a therapist, and the therapist was like, she probably has bipolar disorder. And if he hadn't done that, I never would have known, because therapists and psychiatrists who were seeing me, like, hypomania was so normal for me that they didn't realize that something weird was going on. So I highly recommend going with him to the appointment if that's possible. And it's probably virtual right now, so it's probably easy for you to be part of that if you guys live in the same place. So I highly recommend that. Let's see if this footage is importing well. Yes, it's importing. Cool. Many farm women were taught to use firearms as well. My family's always done that. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just really scared of guns. I would never want to own one at all, at all, at all. I would be so scared. Okay, you guys, I'm getting hungry. It's 7 p.m. here, so I think I'm going to make myself something to eat. I will text Trevor, see how he's doing at work. He works at a church now. Well, part-time. He helps with the, he's like a sacristan. If you're Catholic, you know what that means. If you're not Catholic, I don't know how to explain it. Lizzie, I would love to take you to the range. No, I would be so scared. I would be like, I'm not getting near a gun. Anyways, I love you guys a lot. I will see you in my next video, which is going to be signs that you're manic. I love you guys a lot. I'm going to end the stream. Bye.